Today we're talking about the Sea of Thieves patch notes for patch 1.03. For those of you waiting for a Swine video, don't worry, that should also be coming out today. This patch mostly focuses on minor issues and does not come with any actual new content for the game yet. It comes with some adjustments for PvP especially though, in regards to the weapons. Let's begin with the updates. Message from Beyond. A message from the ferryman has been nailed to the doorpost on the Ferry of the Damned, instructing players on how to scuttle their ship. Oddly enough, this doesn't seem to be in the game yet, at least on my client it was not able to find that. Maybe it's a glitch, maybe it's not everywhere, or it only appears in PvP. Anyways, this is a reminder to players that if their ship and or crew is in a position they want to get out of, simply going to My Crew in the settings page and voting to scuttle ship will sink the ship and start the crew in a new location. The second change is weapon balancing. Reduced blunderbuss damage and increased eye of reach damage. We've been reviewing the data on players' weapon choices and damage dealt across our weapons and made some balancing changes. We will continue to monitor this change and further tweak as needed. The interesting thing here is that the blunderbuss will probably still one-shot at close range unless the damage was drastically lowered. At the moment, a single blunderbuss pellet will do almost 15% of your health bar, meaning you don't have to hit all projectiles to kill someone, and if they were nerfing it past that point, that would mean that you would have to take down more than a third of the damage of the blunderbuss per pellet, which would be a pretty heavy nerf, so I doubt that's going away. In regards to the eye of reach, there's also another change. PC only. Aim down sight sensitivity. We've increased the default mouse sensitivity to allow for more efficient aiming and to be in parity with the controller, as we heard your feedback regarding how mouse mats around the world are being worn out due to how painfully slow it was to aim down the sights. We're also currently working on further improvements for a future update, which will include an ADS slider in the settings to allow players to choose a sensitivity they feel comfortable with. This is interesting because as it stands, the Eye of Reach has a relatively long reload time, making it a bit harder in that regard. And obviously sniping from a distance is somewhat harder in a game where most characters are very mobile, especially with their dashes and all. But at the same time, the damage from the Eye of Reach itself is pretty much on par with the pistol, so if you're the kind of person that goes for a single shot and then gets out their cutlass anyways, this may not be a terrible weapon choice even for close combat anymore. We'll have to find out for ourselves, but it seems to be going in the right direction for the Eye of Reach. Next change, PC only, mouse binds. We've added a mouse scroll up down to the list of controls players can use to rebind actions to. Fixed issues. Enabling non-directional chat no longer allows non-crew players to be heard anywhere in the world. Players should no longer get into a state where they can no longer equip a second weapon. We have corrected an issue with players receiving very little warning for a server shutdown. Players should now receive a minimum warning of 30 minutes for a server shutdown. We're still working to ensure that server shutdowns are something that a player would only experience during scheduled maintenance. In the meantime, we aim to give players more opportunity to react to a shutdown should it occur. Performance improvements. In response to reports of poor ping times in South America, we have now deployed Sea of Thieves to a South American data center. Multiple server and client crash fixes. Further improvements and optimizations for all platforms are ongoing. Known issues. Trading companies now have limited voyage stock that refreshes at 6 AM every day in-game time. This limited voyage stock is currently not explained during purchasing. A little note from my side on this change, it is honestly a little bit pointless, because if you want to refresh your voyages, you can simply relog into the game and you will have new voyages. As long as that's working, this doesn't really make sense to me, because really it's super easy to solve for you if you run out of voyages. And generally I think trading company voyages are annoying enough as is, and they don't really need to be more rare or anything like that, no pun intended. Next change. Some players cannot see their downloadable content in the game. In the patch notes there's a linked code for the support article to fix that up. Players may experience details of their pirates, such as hair, color and scars, looking different from the initial selection. We are still working on a fix for this. This was discussed in our launch update article written by executive producer Joey Neat. Bounty quest skeleton waves sometimes spawn in the ground or cannot be found at all. Improvements to spawning have been made in this update, and we are working to resolve the issue for all islands. For potential workaround, please read this, and there's a linked article which basically tells you to sail away from the island, so you get out of the area where you considered around the island, sail back into it, and you have that pop up again that will show you that you're entering an island's area, and it should fix the glitch most of the time. Pirates can be migrated to another server after completing a skeleton fort and sailing away with a vault key. After migration, they will find that the vault is empty upon their return. We are working on a fix. A short-term solution is not to sail away from the skeleton fort when you have the vault key. Well, maybe not really a great fix for a problem when you have to avoid other ships. PC, push to talk option will reset to default disabled between sessions. Message from beyond on the ghost ship isn't translated to other languages. That's it for this patch. As I said, much of this is related to the weapon changes, which will be interesting, how they feel in the game. Many things also still revolve around glitches and bugs in the game. No content yet, but the content roadmap, or at least a content video, should be coming out this week if Rare sticks to its plan of how it was announced. With that, thank you guys for watching. I hope this was nice to listen to. If you're new to the channel, feel free to sub and ring the bell. It really helps me out. See you for the next one later. DukeSloth out.